Yeah, you said something very, very interesting, Alex, because and same with you, Josh. I'm hearing measurements is key. I think we all have to, you know, us as the agency partners with our clients, we have to decide what we're going to measure and lock it down and make sure everybody understands what that
Oh
measurement
yeah, for
means.
sure.
And then we also have to get key players involved because and understanding the value of these line items Alex is talking about. Like, and I've had conversations with our clients and without the CFO in the room, for instance, and find out, we've dialed a certain, our marketing into profit, but they're spending to 10% of the market. And they if they could just grow that, if we they just now we, they just need to spend more,
Right.
and we'll do the rest to ensure that that profit continues to grow.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, our CFO saw that we spent a little bit more this year than last year. He actually wants to reduce that line item, along with who knows what else, staples, chairs,
Yeah.
because certain CFOs in particular often are looking at line items of cost as equivalent, and none of them tied to revenue generation, let alone overall profitability of the company.
Yeah.
They have to start realizing that certain cost centers actually can be measured against value, and by increasing the cost of that cost center, you can actually grow the profit of the company. If that CFO just willy-nilly cuts that expense down, they're often not aware that they just tanked the profit of the whole company.
Right.
Yeah, and that is true. We've run into that, Aaron, with CFOs. But I gotta back up some CFOs here because there are.
I love them. Don't get me wrong.
They're a part of the
a fantastic CFO is looking for the areas that drive profitability and growth for the organization, scale. So we also work with many CFOs who actually bring us three in, right, to say, look, you got to grow sales. Or, you know what, you have so many leads, you can't handle them, right? You got to close those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
and I have worked with CFOs that completely understand
Yeah.
the value of certain lines of cost. But I'm just saying, it's just an example of how everybody in the organization could tend to look at the business from a certain slice, and they might miss a nuance that could be catastrophic for the company. If they were to apprehend that nuance and really buy in and understand, they might help to be a champion of it.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've kind of gone through that similar process where there's challenges, let's say, even from the allocation of an annual budget. And maybe, again, it's coming from the C-suite financially of saying, look, we're going to keep the budget from last year the same for this year. And depending on what that means, again, based off the business objectives, that can be a challenge. And without being able to substantiate what success looked like for last year because of certain sales and marketing necessities versus just looking at the bottom line and saying, well, we did well last year, so excuse me, I expect to do the same for this year with the same, technology, the same partners, the same budgets. So don't change anything. Just do it over again. And that's easier said than done. And when you're able to prove the how and the why you achieve that success and have that throughput like that you all are so fantastic at being able to do, I think that is really the evidence that CFOs love to say or to see. And I think it's part of how I think we need to communicate even more to that group, because they always are kind of the heavy where they have to say no because they're holding, the decision to spend or to not spend. And I think that that's something we have to take into consideration more, because it's not just the CMO or the directors, the VPs in marketing and sales. We need to make sure that it's well-rounded from the stakeholders so that everyone really buys in and knows that we can be successful if we approach it this way.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Imagine if you mentioned, yeah, sometimes they just decide, oh, we're just going to spend what we spent last year.
Right.
Imagine if Amazon had done
Right.
that.
Absolutely. So good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron, for leading that. Josh, always a pleasure, buddy, being with you.
Thank you.